What up, though? Your boy Meech, aka the Siage Saint. Hope everyone's doing well. Time for another fragrance video, and today, shout out to my man Goldie Smell Good, because Goldie, you're the inspiration for this video topic. I saw your video on this topic about a week or so ago, and I was like, man, I really want to do a video like that. So imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So shout out to my man, the gold, not the silver. But today, I am going to talk about some clone or inspired by fragrance houses and the best fragrances that I think are from each house. So I have 10 fragrances. That's right. People are like, what? 10 clone houses? That's right. I have 10 fragrances from 10 clone houses and what I think is the best fragrance from each one of those houses. So let's talk about them right now. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to get things started with an inspired by fragrance house that you may find in your local rack stores. This is Murata Perfumes. A lot of their fragrances are generally unboxed in your local rack store. And the fragrance that I am going to talk about from that house is Deal for Man Stardom. This is an interpretation of L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. You could probably tell by the font, at least, of the bottle. So this is a cherry almond scent. You know, it's a bit woody, somewhat spicy, vanillic in the dry down. For a $15 fragrance, I purchased this at TJ Maxx. For a $15 fragrance, you do experience a number of the different transitions that the fragrance has. So it has a lot of depth for it to be, such an affordable fragrance. Of course, not of the status or the quality of a Guerlain, but this is a really, really nice fragrance considering the price. Again, this is Deal for Man Stardom by Murata Perfumes. All right, sticking with those unboxed rack store fragrances, I think the king of the unboxed fragrances in the local rack store is Milestone Perfumes. I have a few of their fragrances in my collection, but the one that definitely stands out for this video is Mouge Affection. Probably could tell by the bottle, looks very Amouage-ish. That's because this is a clone of Reflection Man by Amouage. So this is a white floral fragrance. It's woody, it's a bit citric at the top. White floral fragrances are definitely hit or miss for me, so I definitely need to smell them in advance. And this is one, when I smelled it at my local TJ Maxx, I put my nose on it and I was amazed by the quality of the fragrance considering the price. Very versatile fragrance, very beautiful scent. If you're familiar with Reflection Man, it's such a beautiful fragrance. The white florals are really, really nice in this one. I definitely enjoyed this fragrance. I got a little dent in there, as you can see. This is Mouge Affection by Milestone Perfume. All right, shifting gears to some clone houses inspired by houses that are a little more well known. This fragrance is coming from the house of Zamaya, which is actually a subsidiary of Afnan. So this is going to be kind of, Zamaya slash Afnan. The fragrance we're talking about today is Tiramisu Cocoa. And this is a really nice gourmand fragrance. It's said to be a clone of Amora Cafe by Mancera, which I have never smelled. But in essence, this is, a sweet, vanillic, kind of creamy, gourmand fragrance. You get notes in here like ice cream, amaretto, almond. There's a biscuit note in here that comes off more like, not like a country style biscuit, but more like a cookie. There's brown sugar. I think there's toffee in here as well. There's a lot going on with this fragrance, but this is a nice gourmand fragrance, and I'm not the biggest gourmand person in the world. You get 8+ hours in your wearing experience. Not a strong projector, but you definitely get whiffs of this for at least 8 hours. Listen, I haven't smelled Amora Cafe, and again, not the biggest gourmand guy in the world, but I'm a fan of this one. This is also unisex. I think men and women can rock this one as well. May even slightly lean feminine, but it's a good one, man. Tiramisu Cocoa by Zamaya slash Afnan. All right, next we're going over to the house of Paris Corner, and this is a fragrance that is a part of their Pandora Scents line. One of my favorites, this is Camaro Homme Intense, and this is an interpretation of Dior Homme Intense. Really, really good, man. Lipstick, makeup bag, iris. You get some spice. There's hibiscus. There's a labdanum note in here that gives you a bit of a leathery feel. This is one that lasts like 6 to 8 hours in my wearing experience, but it smells really nice. I also own Cayenne Classic by Al Wantania, another DHI clone, and I kind of toggle back and forth between each. But this is definitely going to be my Paris Corner representative. It's my favorite in my collection from the line for sure. Camaro Homme Intense from their Pandora Scents line. All right, we're going to go over next to the Woods collection, which is probably a lesser known inspired by Fragrance House. In fact, there's only one fragrance in Fragcom that I hear talked about from the house. They have several others, but the one that definitely gets the most love is Dusk. And again, this is by the Woods collection. This is an interpretation of Parfums de Marly's Layton, and it is fantastic. I've probably smelled at least, in addition to the original Layton, at least 4 clone or inspired by interpretations of it. And this one to me is the best. That geranium at the top that gives you that Vicks Vapor Rub type of vibe. You get that, but it's not as, loud and obnoxious. Of course, this is vanillic, it's woody, it's a bit spicy, even creamy as well. 8 hours in the longevity department. Quality on this is so good. Y'all see that wooden magnetic cap. This is a good one, man. Great interpretation of Layton, in my opinion. Again, this is Dusk by the Woods collection. All right, the next interpretation we're going to talk about comes from the Dua brand, and I was toggling between 2 fragrances. Mystical Amulet of Blue, which is their interpretation of Blue Talisman by Ex Nihilo. I absolutely love that one. But my favorite one, I think at least for now, is this one. This is Intense Eau Homme by the Dua brand. This is their interpretation of Dior Homme Eau, which is a discontinued fragrance. You get iris in this fragrance, but it's more of a fresh powdery iris, some spicy coriander, some woodiness as well, a little bit of citrus at the top. This fragrance is very powdery, so if you don't like, powdery scents, this might not be for you, but it's an extrait day parfum. It lasts all day long, 10 plus hours, and it garners compliments. This is a really good one from Dua. I know Dua can be hit or miss, but this one is a hit, no doubt, at least to me. Again, this is Intense Eau Homme. All right, next up, we're going to go to arguably the most popular inspired by or clone fragrance house, that being the House of Lattafa. I have a handful of Lattafa fragrances, but the one that I really like the best is Jasur. This is an interpretation of Valentino's Born in Rome, a Choral Fantasy. Mahir Legacy was a close second. I definitely considered featuring that one in this video. That's a Sedley clone, but this one is so good. That red apple, the minty aromatic vibe, the tobacco, which is very wearable. This is a very versatile tobacco scent. You can wear this. I love wearing it in the fall, the spring. You can wear it in the winter as well. 6 to 8 hours in the longevity department, and the quality, this is one of the better quality Lattafa fragrances that I've smelled. This is a banger, man. This is a great pickup, man. I really like this one. Again, this is Jasur by Lattafa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially on chokehold alert because this fragrance absolutely has me in a chokehold. Arguably the best fragrance purchase that I have made thus far in 2025. That's clone, that's niche, that's designer, it doesn't matter. From the house of Al Haramain, this is Amber Oud Aqua Dubai, and you guys know what this is an interpretation of. If you've been in Fragcom any amount of time, guys, this is a banger. Citric, fresh, clean, soapy in the dry down. It's green as well. It lasts a long time. Really good projection in the first couple of hours that you're wearing it. Again, you get like 8 plus hours, if not more, on skin. This is an extrait day parfum. Great interpretation of imagination. And again, arguably my favorite pickup thus far in 2025. I absolutely love this fragrance. I just wore it like 2 days ago. Amber Oud Aqua Dubai by Al Haramain. All right, so FOMO is FragranceBuy.ca's in-house fragrance brand. They have 4 fragrances currently from that house, and they're getting ready to drop 2 more. I was on the site a couple of days ago, and they have a couple of FOMO fragrances that are still kind of shadowed out or grayed out. You can't see what they are. I guess they are mystery releases. Not sure when they're going to display those, but it doesn't matter because my favorite fragrance from the house of FOMO is Gary's Den Le Parfum. This is a fantastic interpretation, in my opinion, of Dior Homme Parfum. That lipstick makeup bag, iris. This almost has this, kind of almost like fizzy type of vibe to me at the top. Spice, a leathery feel. This is such a good fragrance. A lot of people say it's not one-to-one to Dior Homme Parfum, and it's not, but I don't really care. I love the way this smells. Not a huge dent in it because I reserved this one really for very special occasions. I feel like I have to dress this one up It lasts 12 plus hours on skin. I am such a big fan of this fragrance. Arguably my favorite cologne in my entire collection. Again, this is Gary's Den Le Parfum by FOMO. All right, and last but not least, we got to talk about my favorite inspired by or clone fragrance house, pound for pound, that being the House of Fragrance World. I have more Fragrance World fragrances in my collection than any other fragrance house, designer, niche, clone, it doesn't matter. I have more Fragrance World fragrances than any other, and I could have gone a few different directions, but today, in this video, I'm going with Spectre Ghost. This is my favorite Fragrance World fragrance as of today, because that could change literally tomorrow or next week. This is a great interpretation of Nichané's Ani. This is mostly this creamy, warm, vanillic fragrance. You get a little bit of ginger, a little bit of citruses on the top, but for the most part, this is just a vanillic, warm fragrance. I absolutely love the way this smells. Huge compliment getter, lasts about 8 hours. I absolutely love wearing this fragrance. One of my favorites in my collection. Top 15, top 20 for sure. This is Spectre Ghost by Fragrance World. Well, there you have it, guys. 10 inspired by fragrance houses and the fragrances that I think are the best from each one of those houses. What are your thoughts? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Do you feel other fragrances from these houses are better? Let me know in the comment section. Let's argue respectfully, of course. Be sure to check out my social media for more. Please like and subscribe wherever you're watching this video. That would be greatly appreciated. It's your boy Meech, aka the CI Saint. Until next time, take care. Peace.